time it is. It's wine time. Have you got a wine in your hand? If not, you need to go and get some wine because it's the time of the week where we get to drink wine and answer your questions about running an online business. So let me know if you have questions in the chat box below. We're going to have a quick wine time this week because I have a whole bunch of work that still needs to happen, unfortunately. But let me just double check that this is working. And it's been an exciting week for Wine Time, for the Wine Time show. Not only new memoji and little logo, like cute. Can you read that there? So cute. But also, you guys, we have a sponsor. We have a sponsor. So Prosperitas Wines is sponsoring the show. Thanks, Prosperitas. So we've got a lovely Coonawarra Shiraz. And this is just like, I mean, if there's not a greater reason to get your brand online and to develop your personal brand and to put content out that's helpful and transformative, people may give you free wine for that privilege. So I just think that that's probably the best reason in the history of all reasons as to why you should get online and be a personal brand. Cheers. It looks like my internet's really scratchy. Sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can here. Okay, so the reason why Wine Time is going to be quick this week is because I am going to go and fill out a government grant. So this is for any of my Sydney siders, so people who are living in the city of Sydney, have a business there. There is a new government grant that that you can apply for, and you can hire someone like me to help get your brand online, or you can do one of my courses as well. So my interpretation, I'm not a grants expert, but my interpretation is that you can use it for things like Facebook advertising, for buying my courses, or hiring a coach or a consultant like me. So I recommend, I've posted it on each of my pages. So if you're seeing this, just scroll down on my pages and check out the post. Looks like I'm super grabby. Anyway, let's see how the sound is. A grants expert. Okay, so you can hear me. All good. All right, so that's the government grant, that's the sponsorship. And then the other big thing that's been happening this week is that I have a free class that I ran on Thursday. I'm going to run it again next Wednesday. It's called Launch, Scale, and Future-Proof Your Online Business in 2020. And it teaches you the brand conversion and traffic secrets that are working now so that you can create cash in times of uncertainty. It's already had like rave reviews. There's people posting 5-star reviews and everyone's talking about the class. It's super, super good and literally tells you exactly what I would recommend if I had any kind of business, like the kind of businesses that are going to do really, really well out of this. I basically teach you exactly how to, what's going to work. So if you're a business owner, or you're about to be a business owner, or you're contemplating being a business owner, then I would definitely sign up to the free class. If you just comment the word free or class or whatever down below, I can send you the link to the free class. But yeah, we're going to do it again next Wednesday just because it was such a big hit. The peeps loved it. Now I have one question that's come through. If you want to get your questions answered from me on Wine Time, just send me a DM and I can answer your questions for you. Super fun. One of my OG fashion styling babes has asked a question this week, so I'm super excited to answer that. So my very first online course was a fashion styling course. I don't even really talk about it anymore, but it's still one of the best. It's probably still the best fashion styling course on the interwebs. How good's that? So one of my fashion styling OG students has got a question which I'll be answering, and it'll be relevant for everyone. It's a lighting question, so that's fun. So if you do have questions whilst we're live, feel free. I might jump over here to Insta. Oh, I forgot to go live on Instagram. Oh well. Okay, cool. So now let's dive into the mindset stuff that I want to share with you this week, because obviously I've been thinking a lot about where we're at with the current environment and how people are coping or not coping with what's going on. So I found this excerpt from Alicia Keys' book. She's got a new book out there. It's amazing. You should definitely read it. It's awesome. So this is the excerpt that I just found that I thought is so relevant to what we're going through right now. And she says, "Nothing but uncertainty is certain. Circumstances come together only to fall apart moments or months later. And then in a flash, we must rise up and regain our footing. In the mirror, I see so clearly what escaped me. It's not that the ground underneath us that is suddenly shifting. is that the ground underneath me was never still. That's part of the work of my journey in getting comfortable with life's groundlessness. And don't you just feel that's exactly what we're experiencing right now, like a collective universal groundlessness? And I would imagine that people, the way that people are going to cope with this or not coping is that it's that lack of uncertainty, right? So we don't really know, we don't know what's coming next. We don't know if it's going to get better or worse. We don't know if we can go outside. We don't, there's this huge lack of certainty that's causing so much pain for people. So step number one would just be identifying that, it's a lack of uncertainty that's making you feel this way or making you feel this stressed. The other thing that a lot of people will be dealing with right now is all of their baggage and shit that they haven't dealt with for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, because normally they would mask all of that with, external environments. They would go and get drunk, or they would go and see a friend, or they would go and, do whatever it is, play sport, whatever your thing is that stops you from doing your personal work and helps camouflage, any of the underlying pain that you may be in. Now all of those external distractions have been taken away. And as a result, we're all just sitting around just with ourselves. And there's an added level of stress in the world. So add that level of stress, all the work that you haven't done on yourself for the last however long it's been, and that's again going to be causing a lot of people a lot of pain during this. So I do have a formula that I do personally for dealing with my unconscious beliefs, my the blocks, like the trauma that all the trauma that I've had in this lifetime and past lifetimes, and I'm happy to share that with people. It's a little bit woo, in fact it's super woo, so let me know if it's something that you're a bit interested in hearing about. I'm sort of thinking about sharing it, but yeah, so I guess like the takeaway in all this is like, when you're feeling the feelings of grief or uncertainty or fear that are coming up, rather than trying to distract yourself, which is what you've done for the last 10-20 years, instead turn inward and focus on that pain and figure out why you're feeling that way. Because the pain that you're feeling right now isn't actually to do with your current situation. The pain that you're feeling is a result of an initial pain that you probably experienced 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So working on why you're feeling traumatized in this current situation. Like for me, I've spent a lot of my life dealing with my shit, and as a result, I'm not I'm not super triggered by the current situation. I'm like fine by it, and I believe that that's a result of years ago I decided that I wasn't going to hide from my baggage. Years ago I was going to turn inwards, I was going to get my shit done, I was going to sort my stuff out, and that's just a process that I went on a long time ago. So if you want help with that, let me know. I'm happy to share my woo-woo craziness with you. Let me just see if there are any questions on the live stream. Otherwise, I'm going to roll on into the question that was asked earlier. Right-o. In the meantime, cheers, Prosperitus. No, we're all good. Okay. So, one of my OG babes, Christina, look at they've got the live over my little memoji. Do I look like my memoji? Look. Which way is she going? This way. Okay, cool. So Christina has asked a question that is relevant to all of you. If you could answer this question, that would be great. I am looking for a ring light to do my videos. Oh, she must be my Freedom Funnels course. Are you able to suggest any good ones? I can see that there is more luxe and more basic. Any help would be great. And also which sizes. You being amazing at all this you'd probably know. Okay, so I have what I recommend for lighting. Step number one is I recommend natural daylight. As you can see, I'm glowing over here because I am literally facing almost like a natural softbox, if you will. Like I'm just facing a really open plan area. I'm outside, so I'm standing in a balcony. And natural lighting will always look 1,000 times better than artificial lighting. So if you have, Christina, if you have a window that you can face and instead of purchasing a light, you would purchase a backdrop. That would be cheaper, and personally I believe that it's better. If you don't have something that has consistent light, so for instance, you know, where I lived in Tamarama, there was light all day long. Like it didn't just have light in the morning or in the evening. I literally had like 8 hours of good light. So it didn't stop me from shooting, you know, whenever I wanted to shoot in the morning or the evening. That would be my recommendation number one. My second recommendation would be to buy soft boxes, not ring lights. And I know this goes against what everyone tells you to do. I bought a really fancy, like super expensive ring light before they were popular. So like, I don't know, like 5 years ago when I had to have all of the best equipment. So I bought a fancy ring light, and I never used it. I didn't think it was flattering on my age of skin. I don't know how old you are, but whenever I used it, I was like, oh shit, I look 103. So I was never really into the whole soft ring light. And mine was like top of the range, you know, you could change it from warm to cool and all the things. And I just was never a fan. So again, that's my opinion on ring lights. So if you were to buy lighting, my first recommendation would be to buy soft boxes. You can buy them on eBay or Amazon for like $50 each sort of thing. They're super cheap. And I just feel like for women, I honestly think they're more flattering unless you're like a 20-year-old beauty blogger. And if you hung up on a ring light, size, the idea of the ring light is that it should light you around your face. So I know there are smaller ones these days, but the whole idea is that it should be a ring of light around your face. So just make sure that the size is going to fit around your face. And in terms of expensive versus cheap, honestly, I feel like the cheaper ones would be just as good these days. Like I can't tell how it would be different. It's basically the same bulb. So I don't see what you'd be getting if you're buying a fancy one versus a cheap one. The only thing that you do want to make sure that you're getting is one that you can turn from warm to cool. So there'll be a feature on it that says, what do they call it? Not Kelvins. What's the function of lighting? It's like a color and you can turn it from a warm color to a cool color. So the only thing that I would look for is one that you can definitely turn cool. What that means is that most ring lights, like if you don't have that, you'll run really hot, like you'll look really yellow and like hot on your videos. But instead you could get one that turns to cool, and then you have like a more natural looking skin tone. Or you may like looking yellowy. I like looking really blue because I'm super red. So I do everything with a cool light. But that's just me because I'm cool. Hopefully that's helped, Christina. If anyone else has questions whilst we're on live, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. I've got to get back to my government grant. So again, if you guys have ever thought of hiring me or doing one of my courses or hiring anyone, God, not just me. If you want to hire a digital marketing expert, now is the time. Someone is going to pay. The government is going to pay you for that. And what else did I want to say? Oh, and I think my interpretation is that you can use it to run Facebook ads. So again, great for anyone that wants to enter a new market. Yeah, really great opportunity. You have to be a City of Sydney resident though. Okay, you guys. Doesn't look like there are any questions for me, so I'm going to wrap up this weekly wine time, and I'll be back to you next week. If you're catching this on the replay, feel free to drop me a DM through the week with your questions. Don't think there are any other questions. And we will chat next week, same time, same channel. Cheers. Have an awesome week, babes. Talk to you then. Bye.